Giotto had emerged from the studio of Cimabue as a master in his own right. He had fully absorbed Cimabue's training and could flawlessly work in the old Byzantine style, but something unpredictable happened in Giotto's paintings. In the old Byzantine style, the artwork was simply an eminence of the authority of the Church. The Church was all-powerful, embodied in the person of the Eastern Emperor, and the subject had no advocate. There was no intermediary between the subject and God, just as there was no intermediary between the subject and the emperor. Jesus, once the kindly good shepherd, in the Byzantine style, became the fearful Pantocrator, the world judge, gazing down from the ceiling mosaic of a Byzantine church. The righteous were overwhelmed by the supremacy of his ultimate and unwavering power, while the wicked were assured damnation. Crusades from the west were weakening the Byzantine Empire. Western religious soldiers so mistrusted the Greek-speaking Byzantine that the warriors of the Fourth Crusade diverted from their goal of retaking Jerusalem in order to rob and destroy Constantinople. Later, in 1453, the eastern capital would fall to the Turks and become reincarnated as Istanbul. Ultimately, the biggest change to authoritarian religious philosophy embodied by the Pantocrator came from a little friar who talked to birds. St. Francis, whose life was framed by the political events of the Crusades, humanized Christianity. He believed that because God had created everything in the world had a flicker of divine intelligence. He preached his sermons to anyone who would listen to them. It mattered little whether the congregation was human or a flock of sparrows. His soothing voice convinced a starving wolf to stop attacking a village in exchange for receiving food from the villagers and becoming their pet. God commanded Francis in a dream to rebuild his church, and Francis, not knowing how to approach the task, simply walked around asking for stones. The life of this simple, joyful man inspired an international movement, which ended up softening the absolutism of the church. Thousands joined the Franciscan order, taking vows of poverty to live as the first Christians had. Francis was like an intercessor between God and man, a human being which God had spoken with directly, and who shared the voice of God with the common person. Giotto was Francis's painter.